Welcome to 734 Games, and this is Game Time. And today, we are playing Horizon Zero Dawn by Gorilla and Sony Interactive. And before we get to the fun stuff, my nephew, his Gofundme for his cancer treatments is in the description. So check out that link. Yeah, give everything you can, and any money given to this channel will go for that on here on Bitchute. Now let's get started with Horizon Zero Dawn on Windows PC through the GOG store.
Can't stand today. We have a ritual to perform, you and I. What are you doing here? Does she mean to forbid the ritual?
No, off your knees. It's nearly time. And yes, you may speak to me.
You came to bless the naming,
Have not 6 months gone by since we entrusted her to you?
but we are outcasts.
You by choice, and she, well... I am a high matriarch, Rost. I bless whom I choose.
Then you honor us.
Yes, now go, and be ready to declare. Go!
Now, let me start this off by saying Horizon Zero Dawn is a great game, great presentation, great audio, everything about it. It's really well done. The acting, the voice acting, everything is spot on, just like it's supposed to be. But let's talk about the PC port here. Now, I saw reviews saying that people who were actually playing on PC, they had taken Cyberpunk 2077. They got their refund and they bought this game, and this game is so great. Well, let me start by saying, if you're expecting a more polished game here than Cyberpunk 2077 on the PC, not consoles, just talking about PC, you are not going to get it here. I'm using a solid state drive playing this game, and I'm getting all sorts of poppin' fresh. I mean, all kinds of poppin', assets popping in, alloy clipping, all kinds of stuff happening here. So this game is definitely not a polished port. Another problem I found was that the textures are not 4K textures, they're 1080p. And the closer you get to 1080p, the better the game actually looks. Even when you're running I ran really solid frame rates with, at 1600p with this game. 1600, and the game didn't look that good. I mean, it looked all right, but it actually, when I lowered the resolution down to 1440, it looked better because the screen was where the textures were closer to the textures. This game is not a polished PC port at all, and the textures look really funky in 4K. The game looks really funky, and there's a lot of pop in, and some things just don't load, and then this is running on a solid state. Believe it or not, but there were just a lot of weird things with this game, and not the greatest port. But I don't think these problems are going to stop you from enjoying the gameplay itself. The gameplay is still pretty solid and crisp, but don't expect a game that looks as good as everything else on PC. Not at all. Now I hear the Death Stranding was made with the same engine, and that port turned out really well. I'm gonna check that one out. I'm gonna have to get my hands on Death Stranding here as soon as possible. But this game, no, I don't expect. If you don't expect a lot going into this game, especially with graphics, then you won't be disappointed. And there's some graphics when the game works, the game is beautiful. But when it doesn't, it's really glaring. It's like you'll have like some assets not popping in, and you'll see other assets, in the background and everything. You'll see the sunrise and everything looks really cool. But then you'll see certain parts of the screen where certain assets that don't load very well. I would say play this game at 1440p, even if you have a powerful rig, even if you can run the good frame rates, because it does not look good in 4K. And the higher you get, it seems like the closer you get to 4K, the worse the game actually looks. I don't understand it, but I guess it's because the game was probably coded in 1080p. And yeah, so I hope they patch it, but it's like I didn't get any big patches when I downloaded this game. And this game's been out for a little while, Not a long time, but Cyberpunk has had like 6 hot fixes. This game's not. I would have to say on PC, Cyberpunk plays better than this game and is more right now. So that's just the way it is. I mean, do not expect a polished game here, but it is a good game. And if you don't have any other way of playing it, you don't have a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 4 Pro, then definitely this is the version for you, obviously. And that's pretty much it for this episode of Game Time. This is your host, Tom, signing off from 734 Games, where gaming is alive.
Normally, it would be the mother who declares, if you had one. The whole village would attend, and matriarchs perform the ritual. But we are outcasts. Even so, we keep the tribe's rituals. Otherwise, we might become like the faithless old ones, who turned their backs on the goddess. But their wickedness doomed them. To us, were left the splendors of creation. Beasts of air, water, earth, and steel.